Hi, today I want to show you how you can simply export the source code of your Wized file just like that with clicking one button, and how you can access your whole Wized project just like that with all dependencies in it and the whole source code. And you could just kind of like take this and drop it into your CDN and self-host this, or just take those files and deliver them to the client and says, here is your source code. This is what you paid all that money for if you do it for a client. Because from my experience, clients like, especially if you build something in a tool like Wized, they say, where's my code base? Where is it? And, I always tell them, here's your code base. It's right here. This is your code. But, it is going to be cheaper if we just go with Wized for hosting because, you don't have to pay me another hour just to update the file. So they're cool with that. But, they still want their code base, and it makes sense because this is what they pay quite a lot of money for, right? So I'm going to show you how to get all those source files downloaded in a beautiful zip folder so that you can hand it off to your client, or you can dump it into DO spaces if you want, if you need to have it hosted like from Europe or something, because as of my knowledge, Wized only hosts, I think, like from New York servers, if I'm right, but I may be completely wrong, and that may be outdated anytime soon because their team is just always working on amazing new features. And I know I don't know, but I have a good feeling that maybe there at some point we will able to, pick like the location from where the Wiz script was delivered. As of right now, that isn't working. So I built a little solution for all NoCode Pro Code members. Actually, let's just, reload the page here and let's just go through the whole process together, how to export that code like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the published URL of my Wized project. And I'm going to go in here and I just take the URL. I want to mention that right now it only works, or that's intentional, right? It only works for paid Wized projects because you could technically just export the code and then you would not have to pay for Wized because you could host it yourself for $5 a month for like, I don't know, a few million page views. We don't want that because we don't want, Wized spent 3 years building such a great product. We don't want to make sure that, they deserve that $20 a month the most. So we just want to make sure that, if you need to show this to a client, if that client is demanding this, or if, for legal reasons, you're tied to having this hosted in Europe and you just can't go with the Wized hosting that they offer you, that may be a little bit limited depending on the extensiveness of your use case, this is a solution for that. This is not a solution to get Wized for free because we don't want to take, away their business because they spent, all their time and all their money in building such a great tool. They have their employees, they need to get paid too, they have families. So, we want to make sure that we're mindful about that as well and that we support them wherever we can. So if you want to go in here, you need to have a paid Wized project, and we have logic on the back end that is detecting if you try to do this with not a paid Wized project, and it will fail. That we have adjusted the Python code accordingly. So you need to have a paid Wized project. But if I copy this here, and now I just go to nocodeprocode.com, and you also need to have a NoCode Pro Code membership. This is only a member feature. Again, this is an alternative if you need to have it hosted from Europe, for example, or if the client is demanding the source code, if they need it, for whatever reasons. This is a solution. This is not a solution to save money on your invoice. This is just, a solution if you are trying to do something legitimate and, you just still want to get access to the whole thing. So what you can do now is you just simply go to the embed 2 source code exporter for Wized. You just paste your Wized project, the stage domain, like the published one, and you just click on Run Python. And now you're going to connect to our cloud function that is now, first of all, checking, does that person have a paid Wized account? Yes or no? And then if it's paid, it's going to, here you go, just downloaded it. It's going to scrape all the files, all the source code, and we just downloaded, and it's also fetching the project ID in case that is interesting for you. It was successful, as we can see in here. And I can now go on here. I can open that. And as you can see, here are all my files, right? I have like the Stripe SDK that was imported, and it also considers all the chunks that Wized is loading, because Wized is loading multiple dependencies. And then I also have like, some other things that are important. It loads all the dependencies. You have them all in here. And then I have my configuration file as well in here. That is, by the way, the configuration file for Despia, because Despia is fully built in Wized. And, this is all the code that is behind Despia that I just exported from Wized. And I have all the dependencies for this code attached. So here we go. And, now I could hand this, for example, if I would do this for a client and I get an email saying, yeah, where's my source code? I could just, just take this, dump it in an email and say, here you go, Mr. Client or Mrs. Client. Here are your 21 Wized source files. But I would still recommend to continue using Wized hosting, as it is a more flexible and scalable alternatives, and we don't have to worry about downtimes. And every time we update something in Wized, it gets immediately updated. I don't have to manually copy and paste over 21 files every time and make sure they're all replaced properly. But if that's something they ask for, you now have an option to get that all easily without having to do any manual work, using like the little serverless Python function that is available for NoCode ProCode members. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. And I hope that if you're in the need to export the whole files in Wized, that this video has been very helpful. Wized is a beautiful and wonderful tool. I mean, I built my baby Despia in Wized, and it's been a great experience. So I think Wized is a beautiful tool to build simple web applications, simple SaaS applications, or even MVPs of quite extensive applications like Despia, which is basically Flutterflow, just for web apps, to turning them into mobile apps. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I really appreciate all your support. I really appreciate all your beautiful comments. This really means the world to me. And yeah, thank you so much for all your support. And I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.